Okay, I'm going to do another really quick video. I purchased the Z Automotive Hellcat Burnbox, which is this one. I got the double bypass so that I can mount it up in the trunk, and I also purchased the switches for the steering wheel. My steering wheel, I had to get the late model switches. They've got an early model and a late model. And the difference is there's the late model doesn't have a little plastic hook sticking off. The Speedy's Garage video, he's got the early model, so you got to check that before you order. Other than that, it should be pretty straightforward. Like I mentioned, Speedy's Garage has a great install video on this exact setup. One thing I did notice in the directions on his video and in the directions on the Z Automotive website, they mention, I believe it's a green plug and a white plug. Of course, I've got a black plug and a blue plug. As it turns out, there's two sets of directions on the Z Automotive website. If you go to their directions from the product page, you get the directions that mention the green plug and the white plug. If you go to their support tab and you click instructions, then you navigate to the double bypass instructions there, and it actually shows the different colored plugs. So that's cool. I'm not going to do any more of a video on the install because Speedy's Garage has a really good one, unless something weird comes up. So this is the power supply that you stick into the fuse block. Well, I noticed that the 5 amp fuse that was in there was crooked, looked a little funny. So I went ahead and pulled it out to see if something was up with it. Okay, so here it is. I pulled it out and it's broken. So I'm going to have to go to the auto parts store and get another one. The moral of this story is if it looks a little funny, you better double check it. I did see a couple videos where guys were having problem with these burn boxes, throwing codes and not working. And I guess what it came down to, from what I understand, was some bad solder joints. When I went to purchase mine, I went to the Z Automotive website and they were out of stock immediately after I had read that they were having some issues with some solder joints. So they must have pulled them out of stock, fixed them up, and then about a week later or so I noticed that they were back in stock. I ordered mine. I think mine got here to Arizona in probably 3 days, so shipping was really quick. So that was good, and I guess they've solved the issues that they had. Okay, I got the install completed. I had to drive around to several auto parts stores to find the 5 amp mini fuse. It's not only a mini fuse, but it's like a compact mini fuse. I'll put a picture or something. Here's a description I found on Amazon. It's called a low profile fuse. So AutoZone didn't have it, O'Reilly's didn't have it. I ended up getting it at Pet Boys. Anyway, I did have another issue. I'll call it an issue. It scared the crap out of me. So when I got everything installed and I started the car back up, I completely lost my performance pages. The SRT pages were all gone. The background had a Chrysler logo instead of the standard SRT when it starts up. So I cycled it 5, 6, 7 times and the SRT pages were gone. Now I've never seen anybody have an issue like that or explain that, or I haven't seen it in any videos. So I had a little panic attack. I ended up unplugging the Hellcat Burnbox and starting the car back up, and everything was back to normal. So thank God for that. And that made me pretty nervous. Long story short is I decided to try it one more time. I put the burn box, plugged it back in, and when I went to run without starting the engine, everything was okay. The performance pages were back. I was able to go through the process of programming the buttons on the steering wheel, and so far so good. So I'm not sure what that was about. You know, maybe it's the Uconnect app resyncing after you pull the fuse, you know, because you pull the number 37 fuse, which is for the radio, to put the power jumper in there. So, you know, maybe that was part of it. I don't really know, but I just wanted to end up posting this to kind of go over that in case you're doing it. I guess it's nothing to freak out about. So here we have it. Line lock works great. Programmed it to this button right here. You just hold the brake if you've moved it to audio, which is what I have it on. No other buttons are required. Just hold that front brake, push down on this button, and you've automatically got line lock. Do whatever you need to do, get your burnout going or whatever, release the button, and it releases the line lock. So that's nice that it's one touch. You don't have to screw with other buttons on the steering wheel. Last but not least, I wanted to say the cool down seems to work. If I just turn on the pump, the intercooler pump, I can hear it turn on. I can hear the fans turn on. If I turn on low, or I turn on, you know, the combination intercooler pump plus fan on low or high, I can hear everything. But it doesn't do anything to cool down. Now, I am in Arizona, and the last time I tried it, it was like 101 degrees outside. The intercooler temperature was 129, and when I stopped the car and turned the pumps on, the fan on, I must have let it run for 10 minutes, off and on. It starts and stops and starts and stops. The temperature didn't drop 1 degree. The ambient temperature was like 105. So I'm not sure if it's because the ambient temperature is so high why it didn't cool it down at all, but I'm gonna try it on a little bit cooler day. Today it's supposed to be in the 90s. You know, maybe that's even too hot to actually make a difference, which is unfortunate because that's one of the main reasons, besides the line lock, is at the track I could cool the engine down. Well, it's going to be in the hundreds here for probably the next 3 or 4 months, because that's how Arizona is. So I took a little drive. Let's see what kind of temperature it's got. Thank you. Okay, so looks like we've got an intercooler temp of 113. Ambient temperature is 85. So maybe we can see this thing working here. Now, take this, put it on audio. Okay. And then center button. Engine fan, intercooler pump, low, high. Looking to see if the intercooler pump's gonna work. What's going on with you?
So just to be fair about it, you know, I haven't used it enough to say whether it's actually good or bad. It just seems to me like it's not cooling it down very much, but again, it was a really hot day. I ran it for probably another 9 or 10 minutes. It's got a weird cool down break. It seems to do it like every minute and a half it runs, and then, you know, every 90 seconds or so it says cool down break, and the fan shuts off, and literally you can still hear the fan by the time it turns back on about 3 or 4 seconds later. It does that pretty frequently. I'm not sure what that's about. And it ended up going from, I think, 113 After again 9 minutes or so, I think I saw 107, and that was it. Wouldn't go any lower. Uh, but I don't know enough about it yet. I'm going to try it at the track tomorrow night and see after some runs, see how hot it really gets, and then see how much of a difference it makes running the cool down mode. But the line lock works great, and after the little idiosyncrasies of the install, everything seems fine. So good luck with installing yours. You'll love the line lock, that's for sure.